Good evening. Just joined here, my name is Brendan Gill. I'm the District 5 freeholder here in Essex County, representing the township of Montclair, Bloomfield, Nutley, Glen Ridge, and Belleville. I'm joined this evening with a few of my colleagues. We have with us our freeholder at large, Patricia Siebold. We have with us our District 4 freeholder, Len Luciano. We have with us our counsel to the board, Michael Parlavecchio, and we have our South Orange Village trustee and clerk to the Essex County Freeholder Board, Deborah Davis. Deborah, thank you for being here. Before I read about Montclair's accomplishments on the football field, I'd like to ask our athletic director, John Porcelli, and our coach, John Fiord, to please join me. And then we'll have you bring up. So, Gary, who works for the Board of Freeholders and always is a great help in putting these things together, and I truly take a lot of pleasure and joy in being able to recognize the accomplishments of student athletes whenever I can. But Gary always gets a little, frustrated because he prepares these great remarks, and they are usually fantastic. And then I read them, and then I end up just drifting and saying a little something. So I'm just going to freelance just a little bit, Gary, but I promise I will come back to the prepared remarks. You might not know a coach, and I think, John, you probably do know it, that I take great pride in Montclair, being a Montclair High School graduate. My dad is a 41-year public school teacher in Montclair, still teaching at Glenfield Middle School. So it's a great community, one that I grew up in and one that I'm lucky enough to still call my home today. So it was really, I couldn't imagine a better scenario than for me in my first year on the board to be able to present to you recognition from this body, a congratulations and a resolution acknowledging the accomplishment of the Montclair High School football team. I am an avid fan. I was saying before, I have been at all 5 state championship wins, and I've been at a couple of losses too. We won't talk about those tonight. And as I mentioned before, I've probably been attending games on Saturday afternoon in historic Woodman Field since the early 80s with my father, and I now have a 4-year-old son, and we spent a lot of time this year attending games on Saturday afternoons. So in addition to the great accomplishments of the team that we'll absolutely address, I think it's absolutely important for the young people that play and for the student athletes and the parents to know what an accomplishment like this means to the entire community and bringing everyone together. And not only will they always remember it for what you accomplished on the field, but many of us who watched will always remember what you did as well. So with that, the Montclair High School football team won the 2012 North Jersey Section 1 Group 5 State Championship when it defeated Bloomfield High School 16-13 in a thrilling double overtime game held on Saturday, December 8th, 2012 at MetLife Stadium. In this year's state tournament competition, the Montclair High School football team, the Mounties, first defeated Patterson-Kennedy High School 35-0, then Ridgewood High School 24-0, before defeating longtime arch rival Bloomfield High School in the North Jersey Section 1 Group 5 championship game. By winning its state championship, the Montclair High School football team proved the veracity of its motto, tradition never graduates, by reaching the state championship game for the 3rd consecutive year and by winning the school's 5th state title overall and its first since 2002. During its memorable 2012 championship season, the Montclair High School football team compiled a perfect, undefeated record of 12 victories and no losses, and also won the Super Essex Conference American Division Championship. The team finished a tremendous season, finished, I think, ranked number 6 team in the state, the second overall team in Group 5 in the state, and the first team in Essex County. So, Coach, and you have my congratulations, on a tremendous season, and that of the members of the Essex County Freeholder Board. again, congratulations. It's with a lot of pride and my honor to be able to recognize you and the young men that you have here tonight for everything that you've accomplished. So,
Well, thank
Coach,
you.
please.
I'd like to take this time to thank the freeholders for this extreme honor. Extremely proud of what our team has accomplished. Just to regress a little bit, he mentioned, we've been in the state final 3 times. The first time we probably didn't deserve to get there. We started out 2-4 in my first year as a head coach at Montclair, and they were 6 thrilling games. All 6 games came down to the last couple minutes. We won some, we lost 4. And from that point on, the young men bought into what we were doing. We went on a nice run, won 5 in a row, and got to a state final we probably weren't ready for, and lost to a team that was better than us. Year 2, we had everybody back. So we expected to get there. And we had a sensational season, sensational young man named Khalif Urban, who was the Offensive Player of the Year in the state, broke all these records, and we get to the state final and we lose. And we graduate 29 seniors from that team. We had 3 or 4 returning starters on each side of the ball. So for what these young men have accomplished is amazing, because once we started rolling and the year came on, we started getting our accolades. But at the beginning of the year, we weren't ranked in the top 20. We were predicted to come in 2nd or 3rd in our division, depending on who you talk to. Bloomfield had 25 returning starters, seniors that have all played. And we had 25 seniors, but most of them were first-year starters this year. So their accomplishments were quite amazing when you look at it that way. Everybody sees Montclair and thinks, all right, it's a traditional powerhouse. They're supposed to be very good, and we were supposed to be good. But I think other than the people real close to the program, no one really thought we'd go 12-0. So if you were at the game, it was an amazing finish. I'd like to bring up our captains at this point. First, our first-team All-State left tackle going to University of Massachusetts. He's graduating in January, so he's going to start school this spring, Sam Zeff. Brandon Taylor is a 3-year starter for us at left guard and defensive line. Right now he's weighing his offers, but he was Group 5 All-State and All-County. Brandon Taylor. We have our tailback and free safety, an amazing player. Came back from knee surgery, missed his whole junior year with torn ACL, came back to provide strength and stability for us in the backfield. Scott Walker. And our 4th captain is our senior quarterback. He's played varsity for 3 years, but this was the first year he took the helm over all on his own, being the starter. Led a great drive to get us to tie that game, to get us into double overtime. Right now he's weighing his options, but he's also graduating in January, so he might be up at University of Massachusetts with Sam. Nate Crutchfield, our quarterback. At this time, I'm going to hand the mic over to Nate. He'd like to say a few words.
I'd just like to thank everyone for inviting us here tonight. Thank everybody who supported us throughout this season, through our ups and downs. The community that stayed behind us when everybody else said we couldn't do it. And the coaches for guiding us to that 12-0 season and eventual state championship. So thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce our athletic director, Mr. Purcelli. And before I do that, I'd like to thank him publicly. It is a pleasure having a football coach as a principal, Mr. Earl, and as an athletic director, because they know what the daily grind is. People that haven't been in these shoes don't realize the time and the commitment and the hours. And to have somebody just to reflect and bounce ideas off of and go in with the grease board and ask him some advice. He won 4 state championships as a head football coach. Eventually he'll be a Hall of Fame football coach in New Jersey. John Purcelli.
Thank you. First of all, to the Board of Freeholders and Mr. Gill, we really appreciate this. This is a really neat thing for our kids. We had an exceptional fall at Montclair High School. We were able to have 4 sectional championships this past fall. It was a little tough for me to sit through the Milburn presentation. because they beat us in overtime to win the group championship, but I was good. I sat back there and was very, very quiet. But honestly, John and his staff, we have two of our coaches here. Coach Roberts, could you guys come up, and Coach Moore, come on up. Two of our assistant coaches who work really hard with our kids. I'm really proud of what John and his staff has done over the last 3 years. And as Brendan said, the tradition at Montclair in athletics and football specifically is just something that I'm in awe of, because of all the people that still have a connection to that high school as a result of their athletic experience at Montclair. But again, this is a great honor for our kids, and I really want to thank the Board of Freeholders and Gary specifically for all of his hard work. I know that sometimes we're not easy to get a hold of and put all the information together, but he does a great job. So again, thank you on behalf of Mr. Earl, our principal, and our Board of Education. Thank you very much.
Again, to close out, I just want to, again, congratulate you, each and every one of you, for a tremendous season, and also for performing under pressure, which is not an easy thing to do. And in that closing 4 minutes, I said to the coach earlier, you know, I didn't doubt it for a second that we were going to come back. But you know, there's in all seriousness, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on these young men as they represent an entire community in a situation like that. You know, and it's not easy, and I think you should know that even people that maybe you haven't met or don't know recognize you for what you've done, for how you've conducted yourself, and for what you've accomplished. You know, that will not be forgotten, and I think that's what's most important, and that's the Montclair tradition, and I'm proud to be a very small part of that and recognize you for what you've accomplished. So with that, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you back here, Coach, next year, and let's make this an annual tradition. So,
Sounds good.
okay,
We'll bring the whole team
that's
next
right.
year, I
Okay,
promise.
thank you. Okay, thank you. Good score, you guys.